uses of glasses. So today, in as a material and as a finish, we will see there are what all types of glasses are available in the market and what are the different types of activities they are most suited for. So in the core, the glass as a design element gives you a sense of openness. Wherever you place a glass, it gives you the outlook of opening, right? So you have air intake, you have sunlight intake, and then it gives you a sense of openness. If you have a shorter room and you place glass on one side of the room, it gives you the feeling of larger space, right? So that's why most of the designers, if you see in today's time in the metro city, they prefer glasses because it's reflective, it looks sophisticated, and it gives you a sense of openness, right? Now we'll be looking into different category of glasses one by one. So the first one is a clear glass, or what we call as float glasses. These are one of the ordinary or the most common type of glasses that we have in the market. These glasses are basically used in areas such as your partitions, your bathroom partitions, right, and smaller space bifurcations. But again, there are limitations to this which other type of glasses have fulfilled. So we'll be seeing that. So the second type of glass we are going to see is lacquered glass. Lacquer is an oxide film that we apply on top of the normal glass sheet to get a texture of a colored component, right? So you have a glass texture and it's colored, right? So it looks very sophisticated, it is scratch resistant, right? The texture remains for a longer period of time. So most of the designs that you are going to see are that are used on cabinets or almirahs or something like that, they use lacquered glass, but again it is not very resistant to smudges and all those things, so those demerits are there. Then we have reflective glasses. Reflective glasses are generally used outdoors on the facade of the building, right? So they are placed on the facade so that the heat doesn't get in, it reflects out. Plus, you can't see most of the internals that are happening inside the building, so it gives you a sense of privacy as well. It is not 100% out, but it's still there, right? Then we have tinted or colored glasses. Most of the areas where we can say classrooms, colleges or cafes which need a lot more colored ambience, they go with the tinted glasses. These are again films that are applied on top of the glass, but they come as a unit as a whole. So you do not have to do anything on site, it is coming as a building material, right? It takes inspiration from the rose window. In the historical times in Rome, they used to have rose windows with colored glasses. So that's the concept behind this. The the next type is acoustic glasses. So acoustics is achieved. One of the major demerits with glass was the reflection of sound. The acoustic glasses basically solve this because now we are sticking two glass sheets against each other with a membrane that is soundproof. So if you see this, there is a membrane in between these two glasses which is not allowing the sound to pass through, and these glasses are very thin, maybe quarter inches or half inches thick, and the entire assembly is around 12 mm, 18 mm, right, generally around 18 mm. And you can use it in studios, you can use it in maybe in offices where the conference meeting and all those things are happening, right? So it basically cordons off your area which doesn't require that much amount of noise. We have textured glasses. So basically at the time of molding of these glasses, because glass as a core is a molten form, we make different shapes out of it. So once we are making sheet, we basically put it on a textured surface so that the texture gets replicated. These come in the size of bricks as well as glass sheets also. So it's up to your liking, whichever way you want it to be. Now we have laminate glasses. What laminate glasses does is it's a very other version of a standard acoustic glass. It's not that much amount in acoustic, but it rather replaces the central material with a material that is strengthier, which increases the strength of the material. Ideally, we use PVB, which stands for polyvinyl butyl, or we have wire mesh also. So the spaces which are open to public, which you need to have glass for aesthetics, you can use laminated or toughened glass, which we will be seeing later on. These glasses, when they break, they do not break as shards of glasses, they break into smaller pieces. So what happens is these pieces can't penetrate through any object. So even if they fall, their harm or casualties after the incident is very less, right? Plus again, these are also used in your windshield of cars and all those things. So if you must have seen cars windshield, once they broke into small pieces. That's the example why we use this, right? We have stained glasses. So let's say you have to create some kind of abstract art on a glass or something that you found very interesting. So that is done with stain. So it is a pigment, color pigment, that we apply on top of the glass, and it's purely for aesthetic purpose. It doesn't have any such kind of benefits, but the aesthetic increases. We generally see it in churches and all those areas, right? We have frosted glasses. So frosted glasses basically are used in offices. Most of the time you found them in offices to create a sense of privacy while using the glass. Glass allows the light to pass through, glass allows the space to be very much open, but at the same time, if there is a meeting going on, you can have a sense of privacy. Toughened glass, generally these are the type of glasses we use on glass railings, if you have atrium areas, right? And even in these, sometimes when we use glass as a roof, we use toughened glasses, right, for the same matter why I told you earlier. Plus the ideally this glass can sustain up to a temperature difference of 600 to 700 degrees Celsius. So if you are living in a very hot climate, this glass can work in very high temperatures. Now as an interior designer, as an architect, once you are using the glass, there are n number of ways in structure material how you can use a glass. You can use the glass on the floor, you can use the glass as a partition, you can use the glass on the roof. So we will be seeing few examples how you can use them. The first one is the glass partition, where we replace a built structure as a wall and then replace it with something like this. The ideal thickness of a brick wall is around 3 to 4 inches, whereas this is somewhere around half or 1 inches at max. So this is space saving, this is lighter in weight, plus this gives you more sense of openness, right? So if you see this image, this will give you an idea that if this particular wall was made out of brick, the ambience, the aesthetic of the space would have been killed, right? These are very cost effective, right? These are functional. You can have openings in terms of doors, windows, whatever you want to put, and then you have sound privacy in terms of, let's say you are having a studio. So you, instead of brick, this is more acoustic soundproof, right? Then we have glass floors. So in in commercial spaces there are aquariums, right? So you can have glass as a flooring also, but one of the major things with this is the strength of the glass. So ideally we use somewhere around an inch thicker or 1.5 inch thicker glass, and then we leave some gap and then we use again. So there are 2 layers of glasses that we use at one single time. And then these are individual glass panels. They do not come as a sandwich, but you create a sandwich on your own, right? They are having a weight constraint, so you can ideally put somewhere around 150 200 kgs, not beyond that, because every glass member, let's say it's 4 feet by 4 feet, which is the max that you can go in one stretch. If you put weight beyond that, it will break, right? So we have to make sure that we know what size we have to put in. These are around 2 feet by 2 feet. If the glass manufacturer allows you to go beyond that, you can obviously put that. Right now we have glass roofs, which are generally used in attics. You have rooftop gardens and all those things. So these are used there. They are very light in weight, so once if they fall, they do not damage that much. It is generally arranged on a arrangement of metal, whether you make a profile arrangement. So if you see, these are aluminum frames. So you prepare an aluminum frame, you put the glass on top, and then you close the frame. So it's sandwiched between an aluminum substance, right? They are very aesthetic. They are gives you a feeling of ultra luxurious, right? They also are very in terms of heat constraint. They can't allow all the heat to pass through. So if you have a DGU, which is double glaze unit, put on top of this, this will shield more heat intake than a normal brick wall or RCC ceiling, right? So if you have a DGU or TGU, which is triple glaze unit, 3 glass unit with a gap in between, this will shield more heat gain. So your building will remain cooler, right? But there are cons. That is super expensive, right? And you need to clean it a lot, right? So even if there is a small amount of rainfall, the water and all those things, it will start depositing and then watermark appears. So you have to maintain it a lot. Then the last one is, let's say if you are using in an outdoor space, right? Maybe in your backyard and all those things. So it's very inviting, why you should use glass. It's inviting, it's open, it allows people to interact, it allows human behavior to flow very easily. It is very enhancing the visual quality of the indoor comfort. The aspect of indoor comfort in terms of visual aesthetic is quite large. And then it allows connection between spaces. So, if you have a brick wall in between and then you have a partition of glass, the interaction between the partition of glass spaces will be more. So, that is why most of the reason why designer uses glass in their design is that it allows free flow of communication between spaces. So, that was it for the glass and the manufacturing process, different types of glasses that you have seen today. Then we have assembly of glasses, which we will be seeing in next unit of the lecture. Thank you.